The Chicago Blackhawks just lost 9-3 to the Buffalo Sabres. So this may be an odd time to make this video. Maybe not an odd time for this video, but maybe an odd time for the perspective I'm going to have. So they just lost, like I said, 9-3 to the Buffalo Sabres on the second half of a back-to-back. And I do want to mention both halves of the back-to-back here later in the video. But it just has me thinking on whether or not this Blackhawks team is legitimate and could make the playoffs. Now, I made a video just over a week ago, or just about a week ago, on whether or not I think the Blackhawks can make the playoffs. And in the video, I ultimately came to the conclusion that I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But within the last week or so since that video, up until now, I'm kind of starting to change my mind. And again, it's weird to say, knowing that they just lost both games and not good losses in a back-to-back. Um, But in the video where I mentioned that I don't think they're a playoff team, a few of the reasons I mentioned on why I don't think they are is one, their young team, particularly their young decor and all the learning curves and developmental challenges of this season, but also their really bad shots for and shots against ratio that I thought isn't sustainable. But I haven't truly gone over why this team could make the playoffs and why this team is legit and why I now think why not? They could make the playoffs. Um, what do they have? Well, they have a legit superstar on their forward core. Say what you will about Connor Bedard, but he's playing like a legitimate number one center superstar this year. And I'm assuming he's going to keep it up all season. So you have one big gun up front, and then he's surrounded by a legitimate top six, in my opinion. You have whatever combination they're going at the time of, Green, Teravainen, Burakovsky, Nazar, Bertuzzi, Moore is in there. You have Burakovsky having a career or on pace to have a career year. You have Bertuzzi on pace to have a career year. You have Nazar still showing that he can be a true 2C in this league. Oliver Moore is playing really well. Ryan Green is super reliable in the top six, not only defensively, but he can also make plays and he's really good on faceoffs. And Teravainen has just always been a legit top six winger, skilled playmaker. So you have a legitimate top six around Connor Bedard. And I would even argue that the Hawks have a really good bottom six. They have good depth and they have goal scoring. You have Ilya Mikheyev, who has some offensive upside. Maybe he didn't in Vancouver and Toronto, but he has in Chicago. He had 20 goals last year, and he's playing great this year. You have Ryan Donato coming off a 62-point season, 31 goals. It's not looking like he's going to repeat that, but he's showing that it wasn't a fluke per se. He's showing like some of that skill is going to stick around, and some of those results are going to be here this year. Jason Dickinson, when he's healthy, is a great third line center. And then you have some great checkers like Nick Foligno, Colton Dock, and Landon Slaggert. I mean, you kind of do have it all there. The only sort of flack I would give the team is the core guys are young. Um, you have a legitimate number one goaltender in Spencer Knight. These are two things you need to be a playoff team, and you need to do well in the playoffs. And whether or not they're going to do well in the playoffs is a whole different conversation. I think if they do make the playoffs, it's going to be a wild card spot, and they're going to get bounced by either Colorado or Winnipeg, whoever wins the division, their respective division. Um, but you have a legit goaltender. He's second in the league this year in save percentage, and I believe he's ninth in goals against. He's got a shutout under his belt, and he's playing most of the games for the Hawks, and he's elite in every game. Um, a downside that I mentioned in the last video, though, is like I said, that young decor. Um, Sam Rinzel, for example, his development this year has been tricky. It hasn't been great. He was just in the press box for a game because of it, and yeah, he's looked better since. But it's been an uphill battle for Sam Rinzel. Artem Levshinov is kind of the opposite, where he started off rocky. He got sat for the home opener, and he's been great since. He's getting better every single game. We're watching him turn into that number one defenseman that we drafted him to be. Yeah, he's not that yet, but you know the talent is there. Wyatt Kaiser's reliable. Alex Vlasic's reliable. Connor Murphy's reliable sometimes. Matt Grizzlick's having a good year. I think you have the team for it. Again, like really the only thing against this team is that they're young and they haven't done it before. Uh, you're also in a really tight race in the West for those two wild card spots. Some teams are going to cool off as the year goes on. The Hawks may be one of them, but it is going to be a tight race. Um, and it's playing into the whole youth thing. There's a lot of learning curves as a team here. Like coming back to the back to back, I said I was going to talk about. You have Seattle last night where you dominate on home ice for 40 minutes. You have a 2-0 lead going into the third, and then you just completely take your foot off the gas because you think you've won the game. That's what a young team does. That's a mistake they make, and that's a mistake the Hawks made last night. Say what you will about the referees, they might have assisted Seattle, but the Hawks lost that game because the Hawks played like a team trying to choke a third period lead away, and they did with the help of the refs. Anyway, and then tonight in Buffalo, you have the team on the second half of a back-to-back. Sure, they look tired, but you can tell that their hearts just weren't in it. And you got to think they thought it was Buffalo. They're like, hey, it's Buffalo. We don't need to try. This team hasn't earned the right to come into anyone's building in this league and not try. And that's a lesson they're learning right now. But overall, I think this team could do it. I think this team could make the playoffs. I believe. I mean, hey, I'm a biggest Hawks fan as anybody. This team controls my emotions just like every other diehard fan. So I want more than anything for them to make the playoffs, but I am trying to not be biased. I'm probably still being biased, but I think they could do it. Honestly, I'm here for it. I think they're going to do it. I think they could do it. I'm not going to say I think they're going to do it. I think they definitely could do it. It'll be really interesting to see where they are come trade deadline, which opens up a whole other question. If they are in a playoff spot with a trade deadline, do they buy? Are they buyers? You have a clogged pipeline that you're going to have to deal with at some point. There's too many guys for this team. There's already too many guys. You got Lardis in the AHL. You got Frondel, Kansterov, Nestrasil, uh, Boisvert, Van Acker. The list goes on and on. You have 2 first-round picks for this draft. Um, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Head over to Twitter. Follow me there. Always a lot of good conversation going on about the Hawks over there. It's a great community over there. The Hawks fans on Twitter are great, most of them. Leave a like. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.